What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Greenlight Your Own Life podcast with Tiana today. It is June. We are halfway through the year, and oh my goodness, I've been having the best time showing up for you guys every month. This is going to be a bit of a different episode where it's not just going to be about inspiration, but I really want to make it about activation. At the end of every episode, I will say, I knew I was the green light when I answered the question. My guests have answered the question, and the last episode, I asked you that question. And because I like to be fully transparent, I didn't get any responses. And I'm like, okay, I'm not here to shame anyone, and maybe we're not really that comfortable yet of sending those messages in a comment or DM or however you want to communicate with me. But it just let me understand that maybe you're still waiting. Maybe you are still waiting for that green light so that you can remind yourself that you actually are ready. And so I don't want you to be stuck in the mud. I want to be helpful for you. That's the whole point of this podcast, is that the idea of greenlighting your own life is that we're not waiting for permission to know our full potential, to see how great we are. And I'm not going to wait for somebody else to tell me how awesome I am. And I surely don't want you to wait for somebody to tell you how awesome you are. So we're not going to get into the, when I get this job, people are going to know I'm awesome. When I get this gig, or when this call comes through, or when I get my headshots, or when I make my resume, or when. I don't like living in a what if land, and I surely don't like living in a when ... land. When I started this journey on Greenlight Your Own Life, I said often, generate and activate. And what that meant was generate an idea and put it to action. And because I would say it often and I would see myself seeing it through, I realized it wasn't just something I thought of, it was the way that I was living. And I don't want this just for myself. I think this could be a universal thing for you who listen to this podcast, or if you're just coming across for the very first time, let this inspire you to put some of those ideas into full action. Well, this episode is all about giving you the tools, specifically about one little area of us greenlighting our life, because this is what's been happening in my life, and I want to share it with you. Then I want to give you real useful tips that are going to take you to that next level. So I'm bold. I'm really bold. I don't know if you can tell about my sweater and my hair. Like, I'm just a very bold person. And I find that I can do things that shock me. But if I find something that kind of makes me a little nervous, right? That if I think about an idea and I kind of hesitate, I'm human, guys. I would love to say I activate all my ideas, but it does take me a second. And it does take some personal coaching, and that's okay. And so I'm here to hopefully be your personal cheerleader so that I can root for you. Because when I'm making these things happen for myself, I feel great. I feel awesome. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. And so the other day, I was looking at an event that was about to come out. And it was a big event, huge, massive event. And I had previously worked with this woman on a show not that long ago. And we connected, we vibed. It was not long. It wasn't like an extensive month's gig that we worked on together, but we had this like camaraderie. We have this curly hair. We were, miniature people, women who are doing things and making things happen. And there just was like a connection. And I saw that she had another show coming up, and I was just like, man, I really just want to work with that energy, this woman, this type of leadership again. But I don't want to be imposing. I don't want to feel like I'm needy, and I don't want to, cross wires of how I know this person. It just was like a natural feeling that I had within myself. And I sat on this DM of approach. I guess a day. I guess it didn't take that long, but it did take me a second to really press send. So what I just said was, I'm so excited for this show that's coming up. You are always killing the game. I love your energy. I would love to connect with you again, and hopefully in the future we can work together. Let me know if you ever have a chance to talk. Simple, straight to the point. I didn't send any like resume or anything, just woman to woman. I like your vibe. I love what you do. Let's chat. Let's connect. And in that moment, I did not realize that by me doing that showed me the possibilities of reaching out to people and not feeling afraid, not feeling insecure, not feeling silly, not getting in my head that I'm not worthy of this conversation. I am worthy of this conversation. And she was excited shortly after that to respond to me and said, yes, let's talk, let's connect. And I thought, oh my gosh, imagine if I didn't do that. Imagine if I didn't actually press send because I got in my way. What if I was so fearful of maybe her judgment, but really I was judging myself? And it wasn't that I was putting everything on the table. It was just making a connection. And I call that a good thing. I think that is a good thing. You should not feel afraid to do any kind of outreach. I think this industry is relationship based. And you can have outstanding skills. You can be the best in the business. But if you do not have good relationships with people, they won't call you again. They just don't want to have bad energy on their set. People are away from their families for a long period of time. They want to have good vibes on set. So because I had that connection with her for a brief moment months ago, and because I saw the show that was coming up, a fire lit inside of me, and I'm so glad I did. I want to tell you what else happened outside of this. So then there was some back and forth of, I knew that the show that they were coming up was like a couple days later. So we talked about, okay, let's try to get something on the books. And when that happened, it wasn't just, what if it's maybe next month? We try to make it happen within the next week, which was awesome because then you knew both parties cared about having this conversation. And I've met a lot of executives who, yeah, let's put something on the books, and they don't show up or they keep canceling. And it's just so defeating. And I thought, oh gosh, I pray that this is not one of those experiences. And God willing, it wasn't. We get on the Zoom and it was an hour and a half of a call. And it was a lot about just like talking about what's going on in life, And then she said, so tell me about yourself. I want to know more about you. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I have been talking about and doing and practicing for so long. To when I'm met in this room, I know how to talk about myself with confidence, with openness, and not waste time, right? So that's the goal. People have a lot to do, and you want to make it count when you get this opportunity. And we talk about this in the academy. I did a lot of this practice at the Disney Director Program. We had to do a lot of networking, so talking about myself became comfortable. And guess what? In that moment, she said, "Wow, I didn't know you could do all those things." Because how she met me was in one position on the show. And that one position wasn't necessarily my bag. I was just saying yes to an opportunity because I wanted in the room. Well, guess what? I got in the room. I excelled. I had a great time. And I made sure everyone felt like they had good vibes whenever I was around. But this conversation led to me sharing with her all the things that I do. I'm a creative director. I'm a mentor. I'm a host. We're here on a podcast. I'm a producer. I've been a showrunner. I've been a stage manager. Like there's so many things that I can offer. But if you just like stop the buck and you don't take the time to have this conversation with people, they'll never know exactly all the things that you're capable of. So for me, to you, remind yourself what you do, that you are many things, and that should be something you take pride in. One-dimensional is limiting. When you stack the chips and you take ownership in all the things that you've been good at. And I even took it back to my dance days. I said, hey girl, I had a full dance career before all this. And it's like, whoa, really? Yeah. Does that define all of me today? No, but I am proud of everything that I have done since then. So I encourage people that come into my ecosystem in the Creative Director Pro Academy, in the community, we practice this. We practice talking about ourselves. We practice talking about all of these things so that when we're met by these opportunities, we know how to deliver. That's the goal. So that was my experience reaching out. Well, guess what? The experience also came back to me. And let me tell you, my mind was blown because I just couldn't believe all the things that were possible. I get an email from this woman, and it's been a long time since I've seen her, and it's been a long time since we're acquaintances. It's not like we're like texting or DMing or anything. It's just, I have a lot of love for you. She has a lot of love for me. We used to be on set a lot together. And I get this email and it was, hey, how are you? It's been so long. I'm really inspired by all the things that you're doing and talking about. It's really refreshing. And I just wanted to put out there, I love working with you. And here's my resume in case something comes up. Here's just a reminder of all the things that I do. And I thought, oh my gosh, how so sweet. I thought, she thought of me? I was like, thanks, girl. And then I'm looking at the resume. It took moments. I really sat down because it was a longer letter, and I just wanted to make sure that I gave her my undivided attention when I read all of it. And I mean, when I tell you this woman has done so many things, it was a 3-page resume, and I really took the time and scanned it. I was like, wow, she does that? I always knew her to be a nice lady on set, and I never really took the time to understand her title and what that definition is. But now that obviously I'm seasoned in this industry, I've worn a lot of hats, I really do understand the full umbrella of what people are doing on the set beyond my own immediate creative team, working with the director, the executive producers, like all the other people of production. They have so much value that if you just open your eyes and pay attention and maybe ask a few questions, you could discover what that is. Or I'm going to do one for you. I've created a production cheat sheet. Tell me you love me. It is a production cheat sheet of what people do, their titles, and like a small description about what they actually take care of. Because I do think that it's better for you to step onto set and realize all the gears of people and happening. So that was something I took away from just her even sending this email. I was like, you know what? I know who you are and what you now do because of the understanding that I have, but maybe other people out there don't know, but want to know who does what, why, when, and where. Guess what? I got a cheat sheet for you. Put it in the comments, put cheat sheet, and I'll send it to you. Anyway, back to my story. So once I realized the skill that she has, I thought, can I help her? Is this something that when am I ever going to need to hire somebody with this skill? But you know what? It's good. At least it's out there. I have it. I know it. And it's really helpful for me to know, 1, we both like each other. 2, I would love to work with her again. And 3, she's really good at what she does. My God, she's like the glue. Anyway, fast forward to a week later, my boss says, hey, we need this person on the show to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm telling you, this was the exact role that was delivered to me the week before. And guess who got the recommendation? My girl. My girl got the recommendation because she reminded me softly, gently, warmly, because this is what we called a warm email, not a cold letter, a warm letter to somebody who she knows already has a great relationship with on set, because she reminded me. Now, what if she didn't take the time to remind me? What if she counted me out? What if she got in her own way and said, I can't send this email out to her. I've been in this business for so long. Well, this is, guess what? She didn't. Press send. And it landed. Now, whether she gets the job or not, I don't know, but the recommendation came through and I was able to deliver based off knowing I really love working with this woman and I know that she's great for an opportunity like this. So let's bring it back. We're talking about greenlighting your own life. That means you are allowed to reach out to people in a warm way, in a warm type of email, because people already know who you are. They're going to be happy to hear from you. And if not, that's totally fine. It's just the fact that you're not sending out a cold email. We all know what cold emails are. It's like a shot in the dark. You never know. But a warm email can really make a difference in not only your career, but connecting dots again with somebody you genuinely like working with. Or you might be tapping into a new opportunity because, oh my gosh, I forgot. Most people forget because out of sight, out of mind. And it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And who knows you will think of you because you remind them of that. So I got so pumped. I was talking to the community about this in May, and I thought, oh my gosh, we should do this. And I challenged the community members to send 10 warm emails before June. We're June 1st, so I get to find out this month who sent what, where did it land, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to find out if it worked. I already know it worked for me. Why? Because someone from the community, I'm going to say, I'm a drum roll the name, reached out to me and I was her recipient of her warm email. And guess what? I responded, and now she's the creative consultant of this episode. So thank you, Becky Crawshaw, for thinking of me, doing the assignment, and making it the most easy connection to make possible. So here's the formula that I encouraged them to do, and I was the recipient of it, and I was like, it worked. Number 1, and don't feel weird about doing this, but flattery matters. I used to say I'd do it for the people. Flattery matters. When you're sending an email to somebody for a warm setting, just flattery. Oh my gosh, I've been seeing what you're doing. I love what you're saying. I loved it when you did such and such show. Whatever the flattery is, you lead with that. Lead with flattery. People love it. I loved it. Not going to lie. And I love doing it because I'm not going to send a letter that's not genuine. I'm going to send you a letter based off of something I really feel. Like when I reached out to that woman, I was like, gosh, I love all the shows that you do. You guys always come with it. That was not fake. That was honest, that was real, and that was totally genuine. So it didn't feel like a force. So when you're sending these letters, you got to make sure it makes sense. Second, remind them of the time that you had together. So if we're looking at this like as a 4-paragraph setting, the first part of the paragraph should be flattery, genuine flattery. The second part of it should remind that person when it was great being in your presence. I loved it when we worked on this, or I saw you talking on this podcast and it landed with me so-and-so. Like whatever that second phase of flattery, it's like, okay, but now I'm really connecting to you and reminding you, remember when we did this show, or I really enjoyed your company when blah, 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 blah. However you want to connect that dot, it works because now you're not just making it about you, you're making it about that relationship with that person. And then they think, oh yeah, we did have a good time. Oh yeah, I remember that. You want the light bulb to turn up. Okay. So the oh yeah works. Flattery, part number 1. Number 2, remind them of why working with you or being in their presence was such a good thing. So key. Number three, be direct. Be really direct. I think it's very important that when you're sending these letters and you wanted to make it count, be direct. I offer this. I would love to be a part of your equation because this skill, blah, blah, blah. Find a way to offer your skill to something they need. Like, why would I need you? Becky, she listens to the podcast and she's like, and she heard me the other day say, I don't have my full team for my podcast. She said, you know what? I'm here to support you however I can. Let me know. And that was enough for me. I was like, oh my gosh, she heard me. Oh my gosh, I said that out loud. Yes. And she does listen to this and she would be very helpful for in that moment. Then just to be transparent, we went back and forth to figure out what did that look like. And after some discussion, we said, okay, she had ideas. She put forward a few ideas of like, oh, you could add this to it and you can talk about this. And what if you structured it this way? And it didn't feel invasive at all. It felt very caring and that she genuinely wanted to be a part of this process and this podcast, which also meant so much to me because this is something that I care about. It's my fourth baby. I've got Milo, Estella, Charlie, and now we've got you. So I'm just saying how these things worked. And then lastly, I know who Becky is. I know exactly what she's about. She sent me a 2-page resume of what she's capable of. And that's what you do in part 4. Part 4, you show your materials. And you can decide if you want to show a big material or you want to send a bite size. But I do think in her case, she sent me a bite size material, one, because I already understand her skill set, but it was enough for me to look, read, scan, and then it piqued my interest to ask more questions. And I think that's how you keep that conversation going back and forth. Now, again, this is what worked for me. I can't believe my own suggestion worked out on me. And when I then reached out to this woman who I can't wait to do shows with her, I also sent my media kit. I thought that was very important because she said, oh, I didn't know you did all that. I only met you in one role. And I said, oh yeah, girl, I can do a lot. So decide how you want to present yourself. Are you going to send a resume? And what's your resume look like? Is your resume, is it just a bunch of words? Everyone's attention span these days is really short and I can't help myself, but in the community, we talk about what does your visual representation, what does that look like when you're delivering it? Are people intrigued right away? Are they bored? You don't know what people are going through in their day-to-day life and how fast-paced they're going. So you want to get them quick. So for me, I sent her my media kit, but at the end of my email is always my website. Do you feel like you have everything in order to set yourself up for success for these warm emails? I hope so, because I know these tips work. They work for me. They work for the community. They work for the academy. And hopefully they work for you listening as well. So go out there, go greenlight your own life. I can't wait to hear back from you. Don't forget to give your girl some 5 stars, okay? Because this one was so good. All right. Ciao, ciao for now.